The BFG, or the Big F***ing Giant, is about a... What? Oh, well, that's not what it stands for. In this video, I'll be discussing Roald Dahl's 1982 children's novel about a big friendly giant who plucks a young girl out of an orphanage window and takes her to Giant Country, where she learns about a group of even bigger giants who go off every night to feast on human beings. And I will be comparing it to its 2016 film adaptation directed by Steven Spielberg. How are they alike? How are they different? Which one is better? Stay tuned to find out. There will be spoilers. Roald Dahl is hands down one of my favorite authors from childhood, and the BFG is one of my favorite books of his. I actually picked up this copy at a Scholastic book fair in elementary school. This book is delightful. I loved reading it as a youngster, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed rereading it as an adult. Dahl's use of made-up silly words is second to only Dr. Seuss. The giants in this book use words like moochling and foochling, scrum-diddly-umptious, gobble-funk, crod-scallop, bumplehammer. And I absolutely adore the illustrations by Quentin Blake, but one thing that did bother me about them was the inconsistency and illogic of the scale of the size of the characters. For instance, the BFG is described more than once as being 24 feet tall. Look how big Sophie is compared to him in this image, but at one point in the book, we're supposed to believe that she rides on his ear as he gallops through the countryside. I mean, come on. All right, so I love this book. Now we unfortunately have to talk about the movie. First of all, I want to talk about the CGI in this film. Now, if you know me, you know I have certain thoughts on CGI, and I do think that I love Steven Spielberg. He's one of the best directors in my lifetime. He has a long roster of incredible films, but I do think that Spielberg, in his later career and in his more recent films, he tends to really over-rely and overuse CGI, and a lot of his recent films have this kind of artificial, glossy look and lighting to them because a lot of it is CGI and not practical effects. And Spielberg obviously knows how to use practical effects to great success. Anyway, that aside, this film also has a lot of other flaws. It's a fine film. It's fine. It's a great family movie. You can sit down with the whole family and watch it and have a good time, and it has some merit to it. But I really don't think that it captures the tone and spirit of the book. For one thing, the giants in the movie don't look like how they do in the book, which is whatever, but I mean, why? And Mark Rylance, who's a great actor, he does the voice and the motion capture for the BFG. The BFG, to me, in the book, came across as a lot more kind of childish and playful and energetic. And Rylance plays him much differently in the movie. He comes across as kind of old and tired at times. Yeah, he certainly has some energy in the movie, but just not quite like that childish, playful feeling that I got from him in the book. I also thought that the movie's pacing was much too slow, and the book moves really fast. Some nitpicky things about the movie. I mean, in the book, it's mentioned several times that Giant Country has blue rocks. I didn't see a single blue rock in the movie. And it's like, why not just add blue rocks to Giant Country? It's a magical land anyway. That's one thing that you could get right from the book, that you just put some, there's so much CGI in this movie, just put some freaking blue rocks in there. Where are the blue rocks? Dreams are invisible to Sophie in the book, but in the movie she can see them, and they're these silly things that float around, and she tries to catch them, and she can't see them in the book. The movie also invents this backstory where the BFG kidnapped a young boy before he kidnapped Sophie, and that the young boy ended up getting eaten by the giants. So it's this sad story, and he fears that the same thing will happen to Sophie, so once he realizes that she might get eaten because she had a close call or whatever, he returns her, he brings her back to the orphanage and drops her off and says, "It's too dangerous for you. I don't want the same thing to happen to you that happened to the young boy." Anyway, that never happens in the book. He never takes her back to the orphanage. Also, the amount of human eating that is described in the book is nowhere near as present in the film, probably because it's a children's or a family movie, and the book at times goes into a lot of, not gory detail, but there's a lot of talk of the giants just guzzling humans like Tic Tacs all throughout the world. So I can see how that would be scary if they depicted that or described it a lot more in the movie. But anyway, I liked that part of the book. It added a little sense of dread and fear and made the bigger giants scarier in the book than they were in the film. They're so goofy and silly and dumb and not that scary at all, really, in the movie. The movie was also produced by Disney, so I'm sure studio execs had a lot to do with some of the changes. There's also this whole thing about giants being afraid of the water in the movie, which they're not afraid of water in the book. I mean, maybe they made the giants in the movie afraid of water because it justifies the ending of the film where they're airlifted and dropped onto this remote island forever as their punishment. So they can't get away because they're afraid of the water, so they're not going to swim away off the island. In the book, they're dropped into this 500-foot deep pit, which is like, they could have done that in the film. Why not drop them into a pit in the movie instead of this island? Like, that's another little thing. Like, why change that? Why? I mean, the pit is funny. It's almost like a zoo attraction. Like, just why? I mean, why make these changes? Is an island better or funnier than a pit? I don't know. The movie also ends with Sophie getting adopted and living with her new parents, and the BFG goes back to giant country, while the book ends with Sophie and the BFG getting their own houses and living right next to each other in London. Obviously, I was a little disappointed in this film. It's a fine movie, but I mean, to me, it doesn't really capture the magic of Dahl's book. Dahl's book is great. If you have kids, get it for them. Read it to them. Read it yourself. It's a fun book to read as an adult, trust me. Anyway, yeah, the book way better than the movie. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of the book and the movie? Are you with me? I hope you are. If you like the movie better, there's seriously something wrong with you. No offense, I'm sure you're a great person, but come on. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you like this video, consider becoming a subscriber. It really would help me out a lot. Stay tuned for more videos in the near future. My next video will be To Kill a Mockingbird. I will be comparing Harper Lee's novel to the film adaptation starring Gregory Peck. So looking forward to that one. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.